And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Sushi Roll, which is something you eat, but also something you do. In this game, you are rolling dice and drafting dice. Now, this is based on a very popular game called Sushi Go, in which you are drafting cards. This is a very similar game, except you're drafting dice. If you've never heard of Sushi Go, that's fine, although you should go out and play it. It's a fantastic game. But Sushi Roll is easy to play, easy to get into. Here is how it plays. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to get their own player board, along with some menu and some chopstick tokens. There are point tokens in the middle of the table, as well as some dessert tokens and some more menu and chopstick tokens. Each player is going to randomly take one of these conveyor belts, and whoever gets the one with red surrounding it is going to be the player to go first. The game takes place over 3 rounds. At the beginning of each round, players are going to draw forth a number of dice based on how many players are playing the game. Fewer players, you draw more dice. Once you draw a dice at the beginning of each round, everyone will roll their dice, put their dice on their conveyor belt, and then whoever has the red one goes first. On a player's turn, they, at the beginning of the turn, can use menus, as many as they want, to basically take some of their dice or all their dice and re-roll those. Each time you do that, you'll spend a menu token. You can also use a chopstick token to take a die off someone else's board and replace it with a die from your own board. Then, after a player is done doing though, that's optional, you must take one of these and place it on your own board. So, if I take this one here, for example, I would get one of these tokens to match it. But if I took this one here, I would get 2 more menu tokens. But most of the time when I take them, it's just going to sit there on my board. Now, your board itself will show you the different sides of the dice, so you know what the possibilities are. And after everyone has done this, taken their turn, you then pass your board to the next player, and they are going to pass their board to you, and then you'll take the turns again. Again, always starting with the player who has this with the red border on the outside. Once all the dice have been drafted, players are going to score points. If you take some of the sushi dice, these are going to be simply 1, 2, or 3 points. However, if you take wasabi first, so let's say I roll wasabi, it says the next Nigeria I take is going to be worth triple points. So this would normally be worth 1 point. Now it's worth 3 if I put it on top. This would be worth 9 instead of 3 points. At the end of the round, whoever has the most of these is going to get 6 points. Second most gets 3 points. These tokens here, depending on how many you have, will get you points. So the dumplings, one of them gives you 2, while 3 gives you 8. Of the shrimp, 1 gives you 1, 3 gives you 10, and the tofu, 1 gives you no points, but 3 of them gives you 13. I already mentioned what wasabi does. These just give you menu and chopsticks. And these, the dessert, is only going to come into play at the end of the game. At the end of the game, whoever has the most of these tokens that you've collected when you rolled them is going to get 6 points, and whoever has the fewest will lose 6 points. Also, at the end of the game, every chopsticks and menus that you haven't used is worth half a point. 2 of them are worth a point. Once all the dice have been drafted and everyone's scored, then you will put all dice back in the bag and start the second round. After 3 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner. The focus of the game is going to be on these dice. Wonderful, chunky, colorful, great quality dice. Really nice. And you have a bag here. It says Sushi Roll on it. It's easy to put the dice in the bag, easy to roll them off. And it's also, these conveyor belts are really nice because instead of having to pass dice to the next player, which can be a pain, you just slide these conveyor belts on the table to the other person, which is both thematic and looks cool. The tokens themselves are fine. I do like that they say what they do. The chopstick says swap, the menu says re-roll. And then of course you got 1, 5s, 10s, and 20 point tokens. It's pretty well done. I mean, although there's quite a bit more components in the box. The box has way more room than number of components, but it's very nicely done. Okay, so first of all, I need to explain why I like this game on its own basis, and then at the end I'll talk about comparing it with Sushi Go. So Sushi Roll is a fun game because you're drafting things. So if you've never played a game like that, drafting essentially means you take something from a group and then pass that group to the next person. That's what you're doing here with these dice. You're taking one and then passing it to everybody else. And so there's this thought of, ooh, this dice can help me out, but if I pass this die over here to Judy, she's going to be able to make a set and get a lot. So maybe I should take the die that will help her. It will help me a little bit, but it might be better for me in the long run to do it this way. This is what we call hate drafting, where you take something someone else wants. But usually your best bet is to take the thing that best helps you. Do you want to take a wasabi so that next Nigeria that comes, you can triple it, you can get 9 points? Do you want to go for the sets of fried tempura shrimp? Because those are 10 points. And there's not a lot of depth and complexity into this, but there are like 4 or 5 different ways to get points, and you need to think about those. Maybe you don't mind that you're going to lose 6 points into the game for having the least amount of the dessert tokens. However, at the same time, that could be the swing between winner and loser. So should you collect some? Should you just make sure you don't have the fewest? But why waste your time getting those when you can just get a whole bunch of points and maybe be far enough ahead that way? All this is done in a very fun, simple, easy way, and this game, which is for 2 to 5 players, scales really well. I like it a lot. It's fun. The dice is chunky. Everyone I know likes a sushi theme, and even if you hate sushi, which how could you, you'll still enjoy this game because it's just entertaining to look at it. The component-wise, I like the board show you all the different sides of the dice. It's really fun. Now, what if you already own Sushi Go? And should you own one or both? They're very similar games. All right, you're both drafting one you're drafting cards and one drafting dice. I like them probably equally at this point, and let me explain the differences between them. I would pick Sushi Go if I have a larger group of players, 5, 6 or so. Sushi Roll, I think, works better with a lower group, although they both work fine. Sushi Roll works fine with 5, and Sushi Go works okay with fewer number of players. But Sushi Go, everyone is drafting simultaneously, so the game moves a little bit faster. With Sushi Roll, it's a little bit slower because one person takes their turn, they draft a die, and maybe they'll mix a few things up. But because you can mix a few things up, that tactical play can be interesting. Like, I might use a chopsticks to switch a die with you, not because I want the die that you have, but because I want to pick that die next turn, so I pass it to you, then it slides over to me. Hey, I got another die that I want on my next turn. And so you can do some little bit of clever maneuvering with that, and because of that, I think this one shines exceptionally well with 2 or 3 players. But they are extremely similar. They're both the same theme, they both have the same point structures and the things you get, and I don't know that anyone needs them both, but they are both a lot of fun. I feel pretty confident if you like Sushi Go, you will like Sushi Roll, and vice versa. Pretty neat. So that is Sushi Roll, a really entertaining dice game. Check it out. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.